Hello, you wonderful people. So for today's video, I want to talk about obviously a trailer that just dropped. Obviously, it was the whole, PS5 reveal, like yesterday at the time we were recording this. So the fact of the matter is, one of the, trailers in particular I want to talk about is obviously, the next Marvel Spider-Man game. It's Marvel Spider-Man, Miles Morales, which I don't think a lot of people saw that coming. Like, obviously, we knew the next game would definitely involve Miles because the entire first game was about setting him up. Especially like in the DLCs and stuff like that, there's a lot of conversations between Miles and Peter about, his training and stuff like that. But I think it's pretty dope what this also sets up of like, this entire game is going to be about Miles. It's not going to be Peter's story anymore. And I think that's kind of interesting because, the thought at the time was kind of like, because I think I've heard some people say it too, like, oh, so is this going to be like a, is it going to be a full game, or is it just going to be kind of an in-between? Like, is it going to be like Spider-Man 1.5? It seems like this is straight up Spider-Man PS4 2, which is also interesting because you have to do that whole thing. Because I know people have their complaints about that, where it's like, give me a subtitle, don't do the whole Spider-Man 2, because there's been technically multiple Spider-Man 2 games type of situation, the whole thing with like God of War, because God of War 4 is technically God of War 2018, that whole situation. But, nevertheless, at least this one has a subtitle, and obviously it looks freaking amazing. I like what we see in the trailer. Like, obviously you get some looks at web swinging, and obviously I'm assuming what we're seeing are some of his finishers. Like, one is him going invisible. He's got electricity around his hand at one point, so it's like, it's pretty dope. Just obviously showcasing like his very different style of fighting than Peter's, and I think that's kind of a pretty dope thing. Obviously this is this is riding the wave even more so, like, of like the amazingness that was, Spider-Verse. So that's pretty dope. But I'm curious because I think it's kind of interesting when you look at the trailer. Maybe this is just me, Miles looks older. I think it's also because like his hair's, shorter, but I'm wondering, is it just, the PS5 making him look older than he is? Because I'm curious, is there going to be a time frame difference? Because I don't know if they ever explained how old Miles is in the first game. Maybe they did and I'm just not remembering. I assume he's like high school, but I don't know beyond that. I mean, typically like him and Peter are different ages at any point in time. There's usually an age difference between them anyway. Obviously, like in the comic books and in the Spider-Verse movie, depending on whichever, whether it be the Peter from his world or the other Peter, regardless. I'm curious to see how, that didn't even cross my mind till now. Like, I'm wondering if they're going to do like a multiverse thing where it's like this Miles Morales' story takes place in another universe too. Like, I'm curious. I mean, it's also, you got to think about too, like, obviously you don't see Peter at all. I mean, I think that's probably the point because it's supposed to be Miles' story. So I'm curious, is there going to be a situation of it being a thing where Peter does die, like, which will be very heartbreaking considering like we spent the entire, but I mean, to be fair, that'd be true to both Spider-Verse and movie as well as the comic books. That's when Miles becomes Spider-Man, is when Peter dies. So granted, the Peter from his universe, so either way, just from a little bit we saw, it looked freaking amazing. So, but like I said, I do have questions. Obviously, there might be some answers already released, but obviously I choose not to read too much into it. I want to just kind of be surprised. Like, I just want to take the trailers as they are. It's like, okay, give me what you need to give me. I'm not going to really be reading too much. I don't do that about video games and TV shows or movies much. I try to avoid it unless I just can't help it and the information lands on my lap. Then I'll bring it up, but I try not to go out of my way looking for it. But still, I am very, very excited. And it's also crazy because it's so soon, because it said holiday 2020. So the fact of the matter is, it's most likely going to be a launch title for the PS5, which is pretty dope. Like I said before, it wasn't that big of a look at the game, so we don't know what to expect villain-wise. I mean, there's like someone with like almost like a baton-like weapon. If you're more versed in like comic book stuff, you're like, oh my god, that's totally so-and-so. Maybe, or maybe that was just like, I don't know. So I either way, it's just like a nice little, just kind of to wet your beak a little bit type of trailer. So maybe we'll probably get one a little bit later down in the year. Closer to the release of the game. But either way, like I said, I am very, very pumped for this. This is how I'm feeling. This is how I'm thinking. I love to get to know your thoughts about the trailer in the comments down below. What are some things you want to see in the game? What are some things you expect to see? Some names obviously I've heard kind of thrown out there is the Prowler, which would make perfect sense. Because I don't think there's been hide nor hair of his uncle in the PS4 game, because obviously the only people we got introduced to were his mom and dad, which, if if this is that same continuity, which, like I said, that whole it being a different universe thing, which is kind of something that was flying into my head, you know, obviously this is still going to be off the cusp of like, oh, having lost his dad and everything. Because even Peter at the beginning was like, oh yeah, like said something like, oh yeah, this is what your dad is, you know. So obviously, I mean, it doesn't mean it still couldn't be a different universe, but like I said, I just threw that out there, but I'm very sure it's obviously like that same universe of the PS4 Spider-Man, but regardless. So this would be an opportune time to include the Prowler and everything like that, as well as, because once again, I'm not that well versed in Miles. My only experience with Miles has been the PS4 Spider-Man game and Spider-Verse. I do know that in the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon, Miles eventually pops up, him and other Spider-Man. I think it's in the 4th and final season, but I never got to that point in the show. I still need to go back and finish it. Regardless, tangents and all that. But I'm sure he probably shares some of the same villains as Peter while also having plenty of his own. So I'd be curious to see some of, you know, potential, you know, Peter's rogue gallery going over, because I'm sure it's just kind of like a lot of the Spider people probably share the same rogues gallery. So, but really that's all I want to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, all life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.